Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. First and foremost, I'm saying call hello, YAHAWAH, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, QADASH. I want to say double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I want to say much peace, love, and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing the word of sincerity and truth. This is Brother Ariala. And I just want to have some fun and bang on Christianity. We started to talk about this last Friday, and Elder Yashwamba has touched in on this, and I'm going to throw my 2 cents, so to speak, land back off of a lesson he did concerning Christianity. And just the absolute failure that it is of a religion, of a organized group of thought, how much it's distressed the nations, how much it's just been a complete hypocritical devastation on the whole entire earth. Modern Western Christianity is the worst. It's the absolute worst thing that's ever happened to our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true nation of Israel. And it's just been the worst thing, one of the worst things that's ever happened to the earth in general. And underneath Christianity, you've had more deceit, lies, bloodshed, rape, robbery, and murder spread in its name than any other organized religion combined, really. They want to talk and bang on Islam and the Muslims. They want to bang and talk about, the other religions. But Christianity has just been the worst. It's just been the worst thing ever. And so I got a couple articles I got pulled up. I want to pull some scriptures. I want to first start out with the book of Isaiah. You know what? I want to go to Isaiah. Do I have it pulled up here? Yeah, Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19:1, it says, "The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it." And this being spiritual Egypt, America, the West, being spiritual Egypt, the main vessel, one of the main vessels of idol worship has been Christianity. Christianity has been used to spread all manner of idol worship and false ideologies. Is really antagonistic or anti-Messiah thought. And this is why they're okay with incorporating. This is supposed to be a Judeo-Christian society, but in this society, you have Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas, Halloween, you name it, man. You name it. It's here. And it all just goes all around these different pagan religions. And it's an amalgamation of them all. And it's just terrible. And so the Most High is looking at this place, and the idols of Egypt are going to be moved. Okay. Mainly Christianity. And we're going to read about some of that because of the spirit of prophecy has been going out. The spirit of YAHAWASHI is going out. The stronghold of Christianity is being washed away. And we're going to talk about that. Verse 2 says, "I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts." And we're seeing this more and more and more as I read verse 3 and verse 4. The spirit of Egypt is failing in the midst thereof. Okay, this whole idea, and I want to just lock in specifically on Christianity, man. That's right. Christianity is a well-kept monument of failure. It really is, man. And every day we read in the news more of its failures. I'm going to highlight a couple here. This article here, brothers have been bringing out. And this is on the Christ Gospel Radio, right? It says more pastors say they have considered quitting, cite stress, loneliness, and politics. This is written May 6th. It says, driven to despair by stress, loneliness, political divisions, and other worries like their church being in decline, more pastors now say they consider quitting their jobs compared to a year ago. New data released by the Garner Group show. And a lot of these pastors, they was able to eat off of their congregation, filling them with all manner of contempt to the Heavenly Father, lying to them, not preaching any of the prophecies, not preparing people for the time of Jacob's trouble. They was able to take in tithes. But now a lot of these pastors are Uber drivers. A lot of these pastors are janitors. A lot of these pastors are in the cafeteria at your church, trying to make extra ends meet. Okay, a lot of these pastors are stressed the hell out, and it's just like we just read in Isaiah 19. All right, that I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the their spirit is failing, man, and they're fighting one against each other, like it says in verse 2. There's divisions in these churches. Okay, you got Vocab alone. He always wants to talk about the divisions that are amongst the Israelites. Well, man, we can. Boy, don't get me started on these Christian divisions. We pull up the laundry list of Christian denominations. I can't even scroll enough. The battery will run out on his laptop scrolling through it all. Okay. It says the research draws on data collected and surveys conducted in January 2021 and March 2022 that show the share of pastors who have given serious consideration to quitting being in full-time ministry within the year, increasing from 29% in 2021 to 42%. And they're hirelings. They're not dedicated to the gospel. They're not dedicated to preaching his word. Okay, the scriptures talk about not letting these things happen. At least the ministry be blamed. Okay, let me pull that up real quick, man. Let me pull that up. That's got to be 1 Corinthians. Let's see, the 1 Corinthians 6. Is it 1 Corinthians 6 or 2 Corinthians? Yeah. 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 6 chapter. Let me pull that up. Yeah, boom. I'll go here. I had this pulled up, but we're going to come back to it. I'm going to read this real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1 says, we then, as workers together with him, beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of the Most High in vain. For he saith, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation I have secured thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation, giving no offense in anything that the ministry be not blamed. But these pastors, so-called pastors, are blaming. They're giving over into offense. But in all things, approving ourselves as the ministers of the Most High in much patience and afflictions and necessities and distresses and stripes and imprisonments and tumults, okay, and labors and watchings and fastings and pureness, by knowledge, by long suffering, all this laundry list of things here. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. But the point is, when you read this article, they're just giving up. Why? Because the Spirit wasn't given unto them to have the truth and to push through. Okay, that's not their job, right? That's why the Spirit is failing in the midst thereof with Christianity. Okay, it says data collected for the 2021 study was collected online from 413 Protestant senior pastors. All right, from January 22nd through the 27th. It says while the data collected from March 10th to 16th came from an online survey of 510 Protestant senior pastors. More than half of pastors, 56%, who considered quitting full-time ministry in the past year said the immense stress of the job was a huge factor behind their thinking. Beyond these general stressors, 2 in 5 pastors, 43%, report that I feel lonely and isolated. Okay, while some 38% say current political divisions made them think about calling it quits at the pulpit. Now, when we look up that word soldier, all right, the scriptures says for us to be a good soldier. That goes back to the word solitary, man. Being a soldier in this thing, there's a loneliness that comes along with it. There's a loneliness that comes along with this fight. These are senior pastors. They're supposed to be elders of the church, dedicated to the faith, rooted, but they talking about, I feel lonely, it's stressful. Okay? But they never consider all the stress and hell that you Christians have been putting on the whole world this whole time. And that's why no one trusts you, pastors. No one trusts, because Christianity is rooted and basically it's soaked in with iniquity and wickedness, man. Okay? Going down, I want to skip down to this part. It says the March measure of discontent among pastors also reflects a steady increase in the share of pastors who reported last October that they were seriously considering leaving full-time ministry as they struggle with their overall well-being amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Wow, this nigga scared. Fear of a pandemic. No, the scriptures talk about plagues. You don't quit the ministry because there's a plague. That should make you go harder. Okay, it says nearly 4 out of 10 mainline Protestant pastors, or 38% of them, said they were seriously considering leaving full-time ministry in October. That shows you, man, the bulk of Christianity is just an absolute failure. Why is Vocab Malone not talking about this? All right. Why is Vocab Malone not getting on his congregation of people that's supposed to be believing in Christ? Huh? Now, we're here talking about the pastors. We ain't even gotten to the congregation because people are fleeing the church in droves, completely disenfranchised from this Christian movement. It's been an absolute failure. Underneath Christianity, underneath the centuries-long reign of Christianity on the earth, 2.2 billion Christians plaguing the earth with their ideology and mindset. Okay, 2.2 billion. Underneath them, the whole world has been turned upside down. Okay. Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding? And Christianity has completely turned the world on its head, man. They justify adultery. They justify lying. I mean, in the Christian church, rampant cases of child molestation, embezzlement. You go inside the Joel Osteen's church. Inside the wall, there's just hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars of tithe money. Okay, and then when the hurricane came down here in Houston, Joel Osteen, he up in the church with his family, drinking wine, eating steak. People outside knocking on the door trying to get in. They wouldn't even let him in. Where's the love and charity in Christ in that? Where's the brotherly love? Where's their agape love? You gotta have agape love, brother. What happened to that, man? Underneath the helm of Christianity, underneath this reign, the earth has been completely sunken down into darkness. All right. Job 10:21. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. That's the state of the earth. Underneath Christianity, we got the alphabet crew ruling. You can't even say nothing against it. I gotta say alphabet crew. I can't even call them out, or my page will get taken down. Transformers all up in the White House. Transformers all on the TV, all up in the video. Okay, no one trusts each other. There's no natural affection for people towards one another underneath Christianity. Okay, the wild, wild west mentality of Christianity has led to absolute chaos and disorder in the earth. Christianity has been an absolute tyrannical failure in what it says it's supposed to do. It says it's supposed to be about love, unity, people coming together underneath Christ, and it's done nothing but absolutely rip the whole world in disorder, because the roots of it is backed by fraud, robbery, and deceit, murder. Okay, especially when you go into these black churches that try to emulate the so-called white man. Pastors committing adultery with half of the women up in there, stealing money. I mean, we had this one, I didn't pull it up. There's this one clip of all these black guys. They were up in the church and they locked the doors, talking about, we're not leaving until everybody gives $1,000 worth of tithes. And then when an uproar happened within the church, they got them to come all the way down to $300. The ATM is in the back if you ain't if you don't got no cash. That's Christianity, man. Kenneth Copeland, all of these guys, man, a bunch of fraudsters. Okay, that's right. The kingdom is within. Put Isaiah 9:16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they are led of them that are destroyed. That's right, man. That's right. And it's just underneath the helm of Christianity, it's just on a whole nother level. Now, this article right here from KBTX, all right, out of Bryan, Texas, or whatever, it says America's church membership is at its lowest numbers in years, a poll finds, right? Now, it says church membership in the United States has hit a new all-time low. Now, this was written when? April 24th, 2022 was when it was published. It says that's according to the latest poll from Gallup that says that only 47% of Americans say they belong to a church, synagogue, mosque, or another place of worship last year. They even include mosques in there. Gallup's research shows a continuing decline in church membership for more than 2 decades. Okay, so since the top of the century, since 2000, basically, all right, among believers of all ages, experts say the decline in church membership is mainly due to the increasing number of Americans who express no religious preference. Over the past 2 decades, the number of Americans who do not identify with any religion has grown from 8% in 1998 to 2000 to 13% in 2008 to 2010 and 21% over the past 3 years. All right. Experts believe these trends are not related to the pandemic, but say the pandemic shed a brighter light on the decline. People realize it's BS, man. These churches wasn't preparing people for a pandemic, wasn't telling you that anything bad was happening, wasn't getting the people ready for the return of the Lord. All right. Catherine Phillips, co-founder of Middleway Urban Monastery in downtown Bryan, says the decline in church membership is not surprising. This phenomenon of stepping away from church is not new. It's been going on since history began. We locally look at the church numbers and the affiliation with religion here in Brazos County and found that about 50% of the people are not affiliated with any kind of religion. All right. So now what we see is people fleeing away from here, and they don't want to admit the real reason why people are fleeing these churches. They don't want to admit that the church has been the cause of so much harm in the planet Earth. Okay? That's right. You know, they don't want to admit all the wickedness that's going on. AP News, Francis becomes first pope to endorse same-sex civil unions. Wickedness, man. Wickedness. This had to be stopped. This had to be stopped, man. People are not feeling this no more. So the spirit of YAHAWASHI is coming up against it. Okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 5 says, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hopeful works are fulfilled. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And that's what's happened, man. Charges have been brought up. Charges have been brought up against America, against Babylon the Great, which is America, against the strongholds of this idol worship of Christianity, false religion, Christmas. People are looking, and we always say whenever we get to the holiday season, we tell people, man, it's 2022. If you still celebrate Christmas, you need to grow the hell up, man. Google it. If you still celebrate Easter in 2022, you're an idiot. Just Google it, man. So the spirit of the truth has come out, and that's what's disintegrating this Christian movement. And that's why you have these guys like Vocab alone who are trying to stand up and fight back, and it's not working. It's not doing anything but causing people to research the argument more. And once they take an honest assessment for themselves, they realize, oh, wow, Christianity left out a lot of the Bible. Christianity, these Christians really hate the Bible. They have a problem with it. When you really start getting into the scriptures, Christians get mad. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear what the Bible has to say. There's this contempt they have for what the scriptures say. If you ain't reading, for God so loved the world that if you go into any of the prophecies and stuff like that, they ain't trying to hear that. This doom and gloom, hate. That's what they say, man. Okay. Now, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahawashi." Okay, so the imaginations, the incredulities, the false teachings that are in the religion of Christianity, which has nothing to do with who the world called Jesus Christ. Who the world called Jesus Christ was not preaching no Christianity. He damn sure wasn't preaching no Easter, no Halloween. He wasn't preaching none of that, man. He wasn't telling you, oh, it's my birthday, let's have a party and pass out presents. He never did that, man. He never was talking about, I love everybody. I just want everybody to be happy. No, he talked about the elect. He talked about his chosen. He talked about those who have been given unto me. He talked about this world is polluted. You talk to most of these Christians, they don't believe this earth is polluted and needs to be damned and destroyed. They're making excuses talking about God bless America. God bless our troops. Scripture says that the troops are going to be taken into the valley of Jehoshaphat and burned. There is no salvation from the coming destruction by the troops. That's not what the scriptures say. So all of these wicked ideologies are being cast down. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Okay? So the pulling down of Christianity had to happen, man. And that happened with this truth going out, excuse me. Okay? All of that had to be taken down. Right? That's right. Pillars of Benjamin puts 2 Corinthians 13:8, "For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth." And that's what happened when the more you get pushback from Christianity trying to highlight the Hebrew Israelites. Today, we're going to talk about the Hebrew Israelites. And then they draw on a little whiteboard and they see this right here is our bidders. And then before here, the commandment keepers. And this is one West. And they teach this. And you don't do nothing but cause people to research it for themselves. And then 3 weeks later, they on the comment board talking about Shalom. Why? Because the Most High wanted you to do that to stir up more of the spirit to bring in who he's going to bring in. You can't stop this thing. Can't stop this thing. You can only forward it. All right. They put Brother Kingdom is within put Isaiah 30:9. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, prophet to speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. And that's what's happening in these churches, man. They're covering their eyes and covering their ears from the truth of what the Bible has to say. Because when you talk to a Christian, y'all can see it when brothers come out there and you start going into them scriptures and the prophecies, linking it all together, they get flustered and they can't do it. They can't deal with it. Even simple concepts of the scattered Israelites being the Gentiles in the New Testament that were being called back into the ministry, called back into the fold of the body. I mean, it's just basic history and connecting it with prophecy. It's not really that hard of a concept to understand when you put the context of the scriptures together. But the mind of a Christian is like Jello. Okay, it's been ruined with false ideologies. Okay, so that's why the Most High is just bringing this place down, and they're gonna have to stand on this by themselves. They're gonna have to stand on this. Okay, all right. So let's go to Isaiah 47. All right, Isaiah 47:8. It says, "Therefore, hear now this, thou that are given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And that was the mentality that these Edomites had when they came over here. They took down you so-called Latinos and Native Americans. They brought you Negroes over here on cargo slave ships underneath the helm of Christianity. They spread all the way across from east to west coast under the idea of manifest destiny. God is with us to do this. They encapsulated the world in their own doctrine, forced Christian religion down everyone's throats, raped, robbed, and pillaged the earth. And now they sit in the seat of the proud. But it's what's happening. It's being decoupled. It's being broken down. Okay? It's being disassembled in front of everybody. No one believes you anymore, Esau, you so-called white people. You created this whole idea of white, and they want to go back against that now. Now they're the victim of racism when they created the whole thing. People are just tired of your BS, and they're calling you out. Okay? But all of that was underneath the umbrella of Christianity. Even Mormonism. You know, these Mormons, they own Las Vegas. Okay? A lot of these Catholic churches run all the casinos and the strip clubs. That's owned by them churches, man. A lot of that is owned by the churches. Okay? Let's be real. Verse 9 says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for thy great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All of these things, man, retribution, payback. The true God of the Bible, YAHAWAH, BaHa YAHAWASHI, is going to bring payback, recompense for all the wickedness that's been spread across the earth, especially upon the true children of Israel. There's going to be payback. Verse 12 says this, stand now with thine enchantments and with thy multitude of thy sorceries. You have when come down to the front. If you want to give your life over to Christ and be saved today, come up here. Come to the front and confess. They playing that dumbass music. Okay? Per people coming down a pulpit. They don't know what the hell they doing. Some white dude with the stupid looking hair painted on some glass. A whole complete made up gobbledygook of BS, man. Enchantments. White dude with a heart with his hands out, looking crazy as hell. Okay? Don't know scriptures come out. Don't know what the hell you coming and confessing. Okay? 10 years later, your son in the back getting done up by the pastor, the junior pastor, taking advantage of your children. It's just absolute wickedness, man. And that's not no isolated event. I'm not just saying one thing that rarely happens. This is running rampant within Christianity. All types of embezzlement. Christianity has run rampant for long enough, and the Most High's putting a stop to it. Absolute failure on the earth. Okay? It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with thy multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art worried in the multitude of thy counsel. Let now the astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from the things that shall come upon thee. Okay? And it's not going to be able to save. And it goes on to talk about the impending doom and destruction that's going to hit this place, man. Okay? There's going to be hell to pay for Christianity being spread across the world the way it has, man. And already you're losing soldiers. You're losing soldiers. End time headlines reads, evangelical Christians could be in jeopardy of losing their theological reputation. That's already June 1st, 2022. That's already a done data. It's already a done data, man. Okay? Jake is taking off them stupid ass sweaters, taking off them turtlenecks. Well, maybe some Jakes are. And they're putting garments on. Okay? They're putting garments on. And they're coming into the truth by the droves, man. That's what's happening. Okay? Now, we read this Friday on the live show. I'm not going to go all the way back through it. Y'all can check that out. But basically, when you read this, it just talks about how these churches are losing all types of membership and credibility by the pound. It's happening by the pound. People are starting to really, truly wake up to the lies that's been pushed, man. Okay? Now, when you read this, man, it's coming out that these evangelical Christian pastors in all different walks of life don't even hold biblical viewpoints and stances in their daily lives. They don't read the Bible and say, okay, we need to live our life. We need a society that's like this. We need to live a life like this, like this. They have a completely, what's the word when they have a worldly outlook. Okay, secular. They have a secular outlook and not a biblical outlook. Okay, a lot of these pastors agree with abortion. They agree with the alphabet community. They agree with going to getting a vaccine. They don't care about what they eat. They believe in eating pork and everything like that. They don't care about all the pollution and lies that's going on in the world. They cater to the secular viewpoint of the world, man. They believe the Bible and the way that it stands on certain issues socially and politically is too harsh. It's too harsh. That's what they believe. Okay? So they took polls on 1,000 Christian pastors, and then more and more they realized, man, these guys don't have a biblical worldview. They're not pushing out the Bible perspective. Marriage. They telling women, hey, they are loosed. She belongs to the streets. Go ahead, baby. Belong to the streets. That's what they're pushing. So the Most High is turning this thing down. The Most High is getting rid of this thing. Okay? I'm gonna read this, man. We're gonna wrap up. Because you go in these churches, man. It's just that's where the gay people go to hang out. Church. Go play the piano, clap with the hand spread in that weird way, clapping all hard and loud and shit. The tambourine. Okay? The gay dude in the back with the real slick hair. Okay? Collar be too big. That's where the sodomites go to hang out, man. It's church. Most are tired of that shit, man. Christianity is a failure, man. All right? Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen among thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see. All they gather themselves together, they shall come to thee. Thy son shall come from afar, and thy daughter shall be nursed by thy side. Then shalt thou see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee, and the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The Most High is going to correct the whole planet Earth under the true righteous doctrine very, very soon. And we're watching Christianity and this stronghold decouple, collapse, and disintegrate before our eyes. And the more and more these prophecies start to hit, the more you're going to see people flee out of this wayward doctrine of Christianity. Okay? That's right. That's right. And so I just wanted to highlight that, man. I didn't want to go crazy on this live stream, man. I just wanted to touch on that talk about Christianity, just kind of poking pride at it a little bit, just because there's been tons of articles coming out showing how it's just been the worst. The water to you, Aki. I'm out there putting comments on the comment board for the newcomers. Please go to the comment board, take notes, and Lord willing, we'll come back soon with another one. YAHAWAH, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, RAWCHAA. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you. I came out there pushing the word sincerity and truth. Shalom.